Welcome back to your Commercial Property Advisors podcast, where we reveal to you how to unlock hidden wealth in overlooked properties. Today's video, I'm going to share with you an incredible story of two of our students, Tiffany and Ruby, where they took a small mobile home park and turned it into a cash flow gold mine. Picture this: no banks, no real estate agents, seller financing, and a low down payment. And from there, they tapped into the property's massive upside by raising the rents, doing a little bit of repairs in a highly sought after prime location. Doesn't get any better than this. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how they found it, the creative financing used in purchasing this mobile home park. And by the way, a lot of mobile home park deals that we've done use this exact same strategy, so listen up to the strategy. And thirdly, the simple value add strategy that we use to massively increase the cash flow and to create a property value that's through the roof. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you Tiffany and Ruby. All right, before we get into the interview, just give me a couple minutes to break down who the students are, a little bit about the deal and what you're going to learn. I'm going to set this video up perfectly for you so you can track through it. Okay? All right. So a little bit quickly about Tiffany and Ruby. They are ideal students. Okay? They really are. You'll get to know them. They've been best friends for over 20 years. They do ministry together. Wonderful people. Now, I've been their coach for a while, so here's what I see of them. Okay? Tiffany is the communicator. She's fearless and she's very, very focused. Okay, very focused. Okay. Ruby, on the other hand, is very detour oriented, very tenacious in her follow-up skills. So that all of that combined, they become the dynamic duo. Okay, wait until you meet them. Now, a little bit about the deal. It's a 7-unit mobile home park. It's a small park in a beautiful part of town. Okay, there's 6 mobile homes on there. There's a single family home on the same parcel. The purchase price is $450. It's going in, it's 11% cap rate, right? On the pro forma side, after we get all the rents up and the repairs done, it turns into a 15% cap rate. They're going to put down 10% as a down payment, seller financing for 4 years. Okay, quick setup. Now, here's what you're going to learn. I want you to go over this and then listen very carefully to the interview. So seller financing, okay, what it took here is rapport building. Really, really important. This business is such a relationship-based business. Number 2, you have to understand, and Tiffany and Ruby did a very good job of this, of meeting the seller in person and really understanding his motivation. Once we get the motivation, what we do is we structure the deal around the seller motivation. So we have to choose a creative strategy. As them being beginners, how do they do all this? Easily, daily communication with us and our coaches, okay? So we can help them take this deal and structure the ideal seller financing, okay, that you're about to see. All right, let's go to the interview next. See you there. Got questions? Simply text the word Peter to 833-942-4516 and we'll help you. Welcome, everyone. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today. I have two very special people with me, Tiffany and Ruby. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Peter.
Yeah, it's a
All
pleasure.
right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So today we're going to go over your purchase of your first mobile home park, and they all want to hear the inspiring story. Okay. So again, I appreciate you taking your time and just sharing your story. So let's start with this. With both of you, why did you get into commercial real estate? So what's your why?
Yeah, so Peter, I'm always looking to grow and challenge myself to the next level, and real estate was the next fitting endeavor in my journey. I've enjoyed creating businesses throughout my life, and I even had some residual income attached to that. But that said, there's always a need to get the next client to grow the business. And what I love about real estate is that in general, it's a fantastic means of creating passive income. And then, in my opinion, commercial real estate really takes that to the next level. As far as the driving factor, I'd have to say that it's my true passion, which is my volunteer ministry work. In fact, Ruby and I met and became friends through that work. And so it's really interesting that now we're using commercial real estate to support that work. By
Awesome.
creating passive income, it's going to allow me to do more of what I love and let me go as far as I want to do it, travel where I want. So that's really the driving factor. I did a little bit with single family houses, and but after watching your videos and learning about commercial real estate, it became evident that for the same time I was taking to find the single family house, I could also use that time to find the owner of a multifamily property and acquire 5 to 10, 20 units or more all at one time. So it became a no brainer. And as far as the aha moment, I have to say it was really learning and understanding force appreciation. With a
Mm.
single family house, the value is based on what similar houses are selling for. But in commercial real estate, it's based on the net operating income, which you've taught us. So by increasing our income and decreasing expenses, we can force appreciation on a property in a really short time. And I found that to be truly amazing.
Yeah, so
That's
for me,
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, yes. Let's hear from you, Ruby, the second half of this power team.
yeah. So to be honest with you, Peter, I probably wouldn't have gotten into commercial real estate on my own. But, as you know, we've been friends for close to 2 decades, and I've seen her start and run multiple successful businesses. So when she told me she was getting into commercial real estate, I definitely wanted to get in on the action. I personally had worked a traditional job most of my life and found myself at a place where I needed to make a change. I wanted to do something different. And it was a big change. So, like Tiffany mentioned, I too am a full time volunteer minister. I love it, it's my greatest joy. And I realized that commercial real estate was going to be able to help support that even further. As far as an aha moment, my first one I have to say is when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That really helped me to change my mindset, to get in the mindset of investing in commercial real estate. Then the second thing, which was huge, was Tiffany introduced me to the number one commercial real estate mentor on YouTube, Peter Harris. So watching the first video she sent me was huge because you made something that seemed so intimidating, so complex, easy to understand. You broke it down into bite-sized pieces to where I felt like I could do this and I wanted to. So having a, fantastic friend and partner to work with and then a top-notch mentor, I knew this is what I wanted to do.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for sharing both of those stories. All right, so let's do the fun stuff. Okay, let's jump into the deal. So please, let's talk about how you found it, the pricing, the seller. I mean, just an amazing deal on this mobile home park. So please share.
So, as far as the property, it's a 7 unit property. It has 6 mobile homes on it. They're pretty newer in age and one single family home. We actually purchased it at 450,000, which was a cap rate of 11.5, which was wonderful. And the motivation of the seller was actually quite high when we called him. He was juggling a lot. He had a full-time job, he was dealing with a young family. That and his family, he had several single family properties of his own that he was managing and just trying to juggle everything. So he and his partner were just ready to cash out on their investment that they had made years ago. And actually, we reached out to them at the perfect time. So maybe Tiffany can tell you how we met him.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
great.
in your program, Peter, we talk about the methods of reaching out and finding off-market deals. And that's exactly what this
Yeah.
is. And as Ruby said, we caught him right at the perfect time. He and his partner discussed, selling the property and it was just getting things in line to do that. So it was great timing. Uh, when we originally, met with him, we went to see the property, and then we put in an offer for 500,000. So it went under contract in November for 500, and he was only open to bank financing, and he wanted to close by the end of the year. Of course, we always talk about seller financing. That's great, but the numbers were fine. They were fantastic actually, And so we were fine moving forward with, bank financing. The due diligence period was interesting. As it happens with sellers, at times there was some delay in getting some financials and the things we needed for our due diligence. And it made us a little nervous because we had the holidays coming up. And so he wanted to close by the end of the year, but we had several things that were going to impact that anyway. And then delays only made it a little more stressful. So eventually, I had to reach out to him and just let him know that the bank was probably not going to be able to close on that deadline. And he was okay with it. And just before we ended the conversation, I threw out the idea that one way we could close faster was by doing seller financing. We would cut out many of the people and the red tape with the bank, and we could get it done, closer to his timeline. Well, he said that he still wanted to pursue bank financing, and we were fine with that. And so we moved ahead. Now, to our surprise, a few days later, he called us. He said he discussed it with his partner, and if it wouldn't mess things up too much for us, well, then they would like to do seller financing and close sooner. And of course, that we were ecstatic to hear that. The challenge, however, came in the fact that it was now the 20th of December. We had the holiday coming up. We both also had, traveling plans. And so it was, how are we going to get all this done now? Well, again, Peter, we talked to you. We went to the drawing board. We put our heads together. And 2 days later, we flew up, saw the property, and got the inspection done. I really appreciated your guidance in this because when we were, in this fury of how to get it done, I said, well, Peter, maybe we should just have the inspector do it and send us a report. And you said, I really think you girls should be there. So that was beautiful advice because as it turned out, spending 9 hours on the property with the inspector, we went through every single unit and we were really able to see what we were purchasing, the good, the challenges, everything that would be involved in it. So we were very happy you suggested that. The next thing that we faced, though, was just trying to go through the inspection, go through the numbers, try to figure out, what we were looking at price wise. Again, we did that with your help, Peter. We spent time just going through and putting numbers to everything, and we were able to negotiate a $50,000 price reduction. So, as Ruby brought out, our final purchase price was 450,000 with seller financing.
Every successful commercial real estate investor has a mentor. Get mentored by me and my team by applying to be our next protege. Click the top corner. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, just to recap, I think you left out one part. The original asking price was 600,000, right?
Yeah, when we asked him what he wanted,
Yeah.
that's what he yeah.
Yeah, so you got them down to 500,000, and then you did your inspection, and then we back and forth. So we settled on 450,000, right? With
Yes.
10% down,
Yep.
right? So $45,000 down. That must have done wonders for your cash and cash return. What was that,
Yes.
by the way?
I think the cash on cash return was like 61%.
I bet. I bet. Okay, and then we have a 4-year deal, and you're paying interest on your balance at the what's about 6%. Is that right?
Yeah, just a little shy of that,
Yes,
right?
under.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay. So we have 450,000, 10% down, 6% over 4 years. And so basically the seller is acting as a bank because
Right.
you did the amazing thing. You have legal title to property as well.
That's
So it's
right.
just like using a bank, but the bank is called the bank of the seller. So no banks involved, only the seller. Yeah, it's
That's right.
fantastic. Okay, and then what's the exit strategy?
Yeah. So, you want to talk about that, Ruby, or you want me?
Sure. So our exit strategy is we're going to hold it for the 4 years, and there's so much upside to this property. It actually had equity from day one. And also, we got two fully remodeled mobile homes, and all the rents on the property they had never been raised. So that
Mhm.
was something we're going to do immediately. And the area, Peter, is really growing. It's a
Yeah.
fantastic
Yeah.
area. We've driven it several times, and it's just a nice area, nice houses. So yeah, we're going to hold it. And I remember, Peter, you taught us we fall in love with the numbers, not the deal. And yet, with
Yeah.
this property, we fell in love with both. It was just a great property to get into.
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
Peter, right back to what we said before, with forcing appreciation, as Ruby said, the rents hadn't been increased. So right from the get-go, we're able to increase some rents. We found areas where we could decrease the expenses, therefore increasing our NOI and forcing appreciation on the property.
Okay, great. So we have six of the mobile homes. We have the one single family home right next to it, and you're going to raise the rents on that. So the combination of the mobile home park home rent raises and the single family home raise, what's the result in your after repair value? What are we looking at?
It looks like it would be around 784,000.
Wow. So 450 to 784. And
Right.
what period of time approximately?
Really over the next few months, the property
Wow.
managers already started, increasing the rents. So, and as Ruby said, there was two vacant mobile homes. So, and that was only because they needed to be, remodeled. So he remodeled
Yeah.
them. We're able to get new tenants in there, and there we go, right there.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. So great success there, but there's always challenges, right? So let's talk about that. So could you share one or two challenges that you had with this deal and how you overcame them?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge was doing all of this at the end of the year
Hmm.
and him wanting to close at the end of the year. And then just everything being under this tight deadline, and there was a rush to it. So
Hmm.
of course, we have other things going on in life. Like I said, we both were planning on traveling, and trying to meet all the deadlines was a little stressful. In fact, he changed the closing date, and it was going to be one day after I flew out of the country. So it's like,
Hmm.
how do we get this done? But like I said, the seller was fantastic. He's a great guy. We had a great relationship with him. We had your guidance and direction, Peter, to navigate all of these things in a pinch. And in the end, it all worked out.
That's awesome. Awesome. Anything to add to that, Ruby?
I think pretty much the inspection, just getting that pushed into and just crunching everything into that 2 week time span was challenging. But after, working through everything, we were able to close and do everything on time.
Okay, great, great. Okay, thank you for that. Next, could you share with us a couple of highlights of working with us and us being your coaches? Because you were wonderful to work with, right? The ideal students. Could you share a little bit about how it is working with us and how we helped you?
Yeah, Peter. So, what I love the most about working with you is the one on one time that we were able to spend with you, coaching time. You've really proved to be more than a mentor. You act as a partner with us.
Mm.
There's are multiple weekly calls that we have access to with you. The one-on-one calls where we get to have you auto ourselves, and the patience that you have in responding to every single question, every email that we send you, and we have access to you literally within just a few minutes. We can get a response. So all of that has just been a five-star experience, really. I remember 2 days after closing on this deal, we got a call that a pipe had burst on our property on the house. And we called you frantically, and you just walked us through every step of the way. You were there for us, and we just really appreciated that. And I'm sure we couldn't have done it without you.
Absolutely. My sentiments as well. What I'll add to that, Peter, is most programs, and I've done several, most programs, there's education, but then you don't have someone there to walk you through the deal. And with you, we have decades of experience and a whole team behind us. And this really equips us to be true professionals as we carry out our, this our business and these deals. And every deal, every seller, every property manager is unique. Not all title companies are
Absolutely.
the same, and not all title companies have the experience in creative deals. So there's always these moving parts, and you're there walking us through the wording and our contracts to keep us safe, our property management agreements, and just navigating the unique things of each particular deal. And I truly feel like there's nothing that we would face that we wouldn't have the experience of our coaches, our team, you to help us handle.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Click subscribe and add alerts so you can get more easy to understand commercial and multifamily wisdom. Okay, now for those, our audience is mainly beginners, people just starting out, and a few intermediate investors. So share with them maybe one or two tidbits of advice of how they can jump into this business of commercial real estate, just like you did. What would you share with them to encourage them to get in?
Well, I have 3 words for them. Join Peter Harris.
Okay.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Um, but also, Peter, I know it's daunting for people to get into something new. It's different than what they've ever done, or to invest in their education for it and having a mentor. But I love the saying, if you know where the gold is, it does not matter how much the shovel costs.
Mm,
And commercial real estate is full of golden deals out there. We're talking to them every day. Why wouldn't you want a mentor to dig in with you and help you navigate these deals, to help you save time, save headaches, save money? Because we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, and one mistake can really cost you. So if you're going to do this, which you should, then find a great mentor, and we couldn't advocate anyone else other than Peter and his
okay, I
team.
appreciate it. Appreciate it. One thing, thank you for that. One thing that you both did really, really well and is working with the seller, right? So, how important is it to be successful in this business and to like just like you did, to be able to go direct to the seller and then create the rapport and the relationship required for them to trust you with them being the bank for you. So, what could you say about that?
I think that's really key to making a deal take it to the next level, because we've experienced this multiple times where, in talking to them, they don't seem so interested or they're a little hesitant. And then once we meet in person, the first time, the second time, spending, a few hours together and just getting to know them, really, it changes everything. So that is so important. Having that rapport, that relationship, communication, it just really changes things.
And Peter, in talking to sellers, I find that they're very concerned about the property going to the right person in the right
Mm,
hands,
yeah.
protecting the tenants that they have acquired, and expanding on their legacy. So they don't want to give it to just anyone, even if the person is paying. Often they're looking for the person that they feel will expand upon what they do and have the same integrity that they've had. So it's really important to build rapport, to let them know who we are, and to show sincere interest and really care and what they want to accomplish and how they see the future for their property, and let them know that it will be in good hands. And I think that gives them confidence and security in trusting us to do something like seller financing.
That's great. So to get seller financing done, then it's not a matter of how much money you have, how wealthy you are, what school you went to, right? How many properties you owned. It's the ability to know that this is a relationship-based business, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And both of you have done wonderful in that area, right? Wonderful. All right. Okay. Here's the last question. Again, thank you for your time. Is what's the future hold for both Tiffany and Ruby? So what's the plan?
So we are just going to rinse and repeat over and over again, continue to learn, to grow, and just continue to expand this portfolio.
Great.
Absolutely, Peter. We have a number of sellers and deals that we're talking to actively, and we're just waiting for the next one with the great numbers like this to fall out, to come through for us. So that's a focus to continue doing that. Also, we are going to spend a bit of our time with investors because there's many people out there who want to participate in real estate and commercial real estate, and they don't have the time or they don't have the knowledge, or maybe they don't even have the interest in going out and finding these sellers off market as we do. But this is what we love. And so to be able to pair that with an investor and meet their financial needs with great deals like that, that's our next focus. And Peter, it's like a win-win across the board. With the seller, we can win by helping them find the right buyer for their property. And we have an affordable housing crisis here in our country. So by
Yeah.
being able to provide affordable housing, it's a win for us and for the tenants out there. And then with investors, it's a win-win. If we can find these great deals with great numbers and we have you and your fantastic team behind us, then it's a win for them and being able to participate with us.
That's awesome. What I sense here are two hearts of a servant, right? And practicality in the real world, that's how I become successful, right? Opposite from the regular world. And so both of you are headed for even more success. And I'm glad I get to be a part of it. So thank you so much for allowing me to be your coach.
Oh, we're glad you're a part of it.
Great, great. All right. Okay. Thank you so much again for your time and sharing this inspiring story. I'll see you both on the next coaching call.
All right, Peter.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And remember, the best time to have bought real estate is always 5 years ago. The next best time is today. I'm Peter Harris. Thank you for watching.